Okay guys, even Squires need some love. This is a Squire Infinity series. And this is the Indonesian version. And IC03, International Court Factory in Indonesia. Court makes a lot of guitars. I'm going to have to take that back plate off there. It's already missing a screw. But this is the kind of guitar that comes into the store as a trade-in. And I usually offer about, since it needs strings and everything, I usually get these things for about $50 or $60. I shine them up, I put new strings on them, and I can try to resell them for, you know, maybe $100, $120. It adds inventory to the store, and for beginners, they are great guitars. And you even see, once in a while, you'll see a professional. Oops, I dropped that one. Hey, look at this. It had real Fender bullet strings on there. But even once in a while, you'll see a top-notch professional guitarist playing a Squire. It doesn't happen very often, but it does happen once in a while. Who was the guy from Genesis? Mike Rutherford, right? Yeah. I think Mike Rutherford goes out on stage with the Squire from time to time. Okay, so we're seeing a couple of these strings were the original Fender bullet strings, so how cool is that? I think I might have some of those. But I mean, if you set them up and they're your go-to guitar, there is absolutely nothing wrong with playing a Squire Strat. Tons of guys do it, and for a beginner, it really is a perfect guitar. So the tuners always sort of come loose, so it's a good idea for tuning stability, just to keep these things tight. This one has the big 70s headstock on it. Okay, so let's just kind of work these fret ends a little bit. I have a file. I just kind of hit the ends here like this. Try to roll over the top. And it'll help to make this thing feel a lot better. My file, it's smooth on the top and the bottom. Just a small file that I made my own handle, and I just kind of hit these fret ends like this, just to try to roll them over a little bit, smooth them out, to make the playing experience just that much better. Rosewood fingerboard, and it's pretty dark. Just kind of hit these frets a little bit. It's feeling pretty smooth. Not too bad. Then I'll take some 1000 grit sandpaper and I just roll it across here like this, just to smooth these babies out. Got to make the playing experience much better by having fret ends that are sort of rounded. Really nice. Then we take our little fret guard and some more 1000 grit sandpaper, and we just sort of nicely smooth these frets out a little bit. I'm not trying to take anything other than just some dirt off of these frets. Cleaning them up The amount of time that this takes me to do this, I still think it's well worth it. When people come into the store, and it might not be a beginner, when guys come into the store and they want something for their children, right? They pick up a guitar, they strum it a little bit, and if the fret ends feel nice, and if the fretboard's clean and the frets are in good condition, that really helps sell the guitar. So we'll put some lemon oil on here. Let this stuff soak in, because this will also help get the dirt off of here. And usually on a guitar like this, if it's been played a lot, you'll start to see wear on these frets, right down here where everybody's hitting these cowboy chords. You'll see fret wear. And on this guitar, I'm not seeing any fret wear. So this one is pretty nice condition. Got a little bit of dirt off of there. So, one of those things to watch for is sometimes the string will get caught up right here. There it goes, it pushed in. So just, you know, be aware of that. Sometimes they get caught. Not a big deal. Now there are those artists, and you've seen B.B. King do it, and we've seen Stevie Ray Vaughan do it, but there's guys that will change the string on the guitar right in the middle of a song without missing a note. And, you know, somebody like B.B. King, you know, he's got a whole full band behind him. And he just adds those little lead guitar parts and lead accents to a song. So if he breaks a string during the middle of the song, he doesn't necessarily have to continue playing. So he can sit there and change a string while he's singing. And yeah, it's quite impressive. Fun videos to watch. You know, with small bands, small punk rock bands, I spent at least 10 years playing in a punk rock band. And it used to be fun to watch some of these guys in other bands, and they'd be halfway through a song and their guitar cable would come pulling out. So they'd run over and they'd shove the guitar cable back in and they'd continue the song without missing a note. Or their pedal board would come unglued and they'd, you know, right in the middle of a song, they'd get down there and they'd plug stuff back in and then kick right into the lead right at the same time. So sometimes gear malfunctions or broken strings is kind of a fun part of the show. And you're in a little punk rock band, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, I know guys and they would almost purposely have guitar gear malfunctioning kind of things going on. And just quick fixes right in the middle of a song. Yeah, that used to be fun. So here it is, the Squire. Be nice to your guitarists, guys, okay? Somebody will enjoy this guitar someday. You don't have to play all those fancy PRS guitars. You can play the cheap stuff once in a while. Let's move on to the next guitar. Okay, next on the bench. What the heck is this thing? It's an Avril Lavigne Tele. So most of these Avril Lavigne models, they had the checkerboard pickguard, right? Single volume, a three-way switch, I'm gonna guess. Somebody modified this one and put a Seymour Duncan in it. So this is kind of a fun guitar, right? The input jack's right here on the top. Seems like it's functioning properly. the 5-way switch has been removed, and that bugs me a little bit because I want guitars to look, you know, like they're not missing any parts, right? But somebody had a good time modifying this. We've got some really nice, what are those, hip shot open back locking tuners on there. Made in Indonesia, IC 2012, I'm predicting. Yeah, that looks like a International Court Factory, most likely from 2012. The Avril Lavigne model. It needs new strings. I'm contemplating whether to just put a 3-way switch in there and maybe not hook it up, or because I don't want it to look like it's missing a part. But yeah, it would have no function to it though, so I probably am better off just to leave that like that. So let's just go ahead and pull the strings off of it. So the first thing we do to get the strings off, just gotta loosen them a little bit. And I know all you guys know how to use these locking tuners already, but I'm going to go through it like you've never seen any of these before. So you loosen the string a little bit, and then just on the back here, you just loosen these little wheels, and that will release the string from the tuner. So loosen these babies up, and then the strings should just basically fall right out. Very nice. And these are hip shot, so these are like the best ones around. So it is string through the body, so then the strings will just come right on out the back here. There they are. The strings are off. How quick is that? Okay, so we've got some dirt on it. The saddles look to be way out of adjustment, so it'll definitely need intonated, but we do have some sort of Seymour Duncan, and our frets look like they're in good condition. Usually this is the area where your frets will wear out, right down here in the cowboy chords. I don't see any fret wear there. The frets are pretty darn clean. This is the Avril Lavigne skull and crossbones at the 12th fret. And like I said, some of these guitars had a black and white checkerboard on them. So just a fun guitar. I'm going to put a little 3-in-1 oil on these screws, just to be messy. Little tiny dab. Oh, I can feel some fret sprout. We'll go over these frets a little bit. I'm still kind of wondering if I should put a 3-way switch in there, even if it's just doesn't do anything. You know what? Let's investigate. Let's investigate what's under here. Okay, so we've got a nice Amazon battery in here. We have a really nice looking electronics potentiometer here, and a stereo jack. Yeah, this is all good quality stuff. So you know what we do with that? We leave that alone. There's no reason to, you know, it's the old if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. That is exactly what we're looking at with that. It ain't broke. If I put a fake, not working, if I put a non-working three-way switch in there, it would get in the way of the battery. So nothing is going to happen there. We're just going to pretend we didn't even open that up. Today's string choice. So today's string choice, we're going to do something a little different today. Mega slinky, 10.5 through 48. So because this thing's got a Seymour Duncan in it, I'm going to tune this thing to D. So we're going to go a full step down. We're going to do a little heavier string than I usually do. And we're going to tune it a full step down, and we're going to make more of a metal guitar out of this thing, because it does already have that EMG pickup in it, or I mean that Seymour Duncan active pickup in it. We're going to make this thing sound heavy. So let's put a heavier gauge string on it. Again, 10.5 through 48. Since we're going to be possibly drop D tuning this thing, I'm going to leave a little bit more string up here on the tuner instead of pulling it real tight. So now when we want to drop D, you know you have some string here. So, you know, one thing I've noticed that in the comments, I very rarely get any negative comments, and I really appreciate that. You know, all the YouTubers always say, oh, you have to be really thick-skinned. You can't let comments get to you. And luckily, I've never had that problem. People are so nice to me on the internet. Maybe because I don't do anything controversial? Is that the word? But if you guys want to leave negative comments, it is quite alright. Because I don't get that many negative comments. It's kind of surprising. Okay, let's intonate this thing now. There's my low D string. And when I hit the 12th fret, it's showing a little bit sharp. So when things are sharp, you have to pull back. Okay, so I'm going to run this back a little bit. I loosen the string. Now I'm going to put it back to pitch. Better. There's my A string. Full step down, it's showing a G. That string looks good. The D string looks good. G string, a full step down. It's looking good. This one might not be so bad. Everything looks good here. Yeah, it's all looking good. Super fun guitar, guys. It's an Avril Lavigne. It's been upgraded with some hip shots. It's a nice little guitar. It's got a Seymour Duncan in there. Super fun. It's a whole full step down. You know, it's not complicated. Thank you guys for watching. Everybody go buy a new guitar.